Like many school districts across the country, the Marlboro School District was forced to make some tough budget decisions a couple of years ago that would affect students by eliminating after-school programs across the board. In the area of sports, the dilemma was to cut the junior varsity program or to cut the modified sports programs.
You know, high school kids, we need them to graduate, and athletics is a big part of that. So I wasn't in support of cutting JV sports. As far as modified goes, we have a great support system outside of school. We have Division 1, 2, and 3 football. We have Marlboro Youth basketball. We have Marlboro Youth baseball and softball. So I figured that those kids will have something to do where our 15 and 16-year-olds wouldn't. So that's what led me to believe that we should cut modified instead of JV sports.
The cuts were necessary because the tax base was shattered with the demise of one of the biggest business contributors in Marlboro, Dynegy. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2012, leaving $17 million of unpaid property taxes. So Marlboro went without modified sports for a year, but then a group of parents decided to get involved to see what they could do to help bring modified sports back to the school. A local attorney, Dan Rusk, and other parents got together to discuss some possibilities.
And we discussed the possibility of raising money to save modified sports. And as part of that, we found out what the cost of basketball would be, as by the time we started this effort, fall sports, it was too late for fall sports.
The price tag to save modified basketball was just around $14,500.
And we got together to see if we thought it would be realistic if we could, in fact, raise that amount of money in a very short time frame, which was about 6 weeks.
What kind of challenges did you come across when you first thought of the program and then had to communicate it to the administration, as well as a grassroots effort with parents?
The school administration was receptive. They told us that they would prefer that our effort was for the modified sports as a whole, but they understood that our timeline would likely preclude that. So they have agreed, provided it was for boys and girls, to allow us and to consider, if we are able to raise those funds, our proposal that they would save basketball.
Everybody was on board 100%, especially our superintendent. He was very involved with it. We go into this field to, for the best for children. And nobody wants to see, a child go without. And, we embraced it.
We thought that we would probably have to raise about half of that on our own, meaning through basic fundraising activity that we could do on short notice with limited resources, which turned out to be car wash. We've done some yard sales, and we would have to rely on the generosity of our community through individuals or local businesses for the balance.
And within the 6 weeks they had to raise the money, Dan Rusk and his team raised enough money to change the gymnasium from this to this.
Some people will say, why modified? There's CYO programs, there's AAU travel programs that are available for kids at this age group. What's so important about modified?
Those alternatives do not provide an after-school activity for these kids. So the kids would not be playing every day as they would with modified. They would not have the experience of playing for their town, playing for Marlboro, which many of these kids have grown up looking forward to that. They go to the varsity games, they've watched their older siblings play, they've seen older cousins and siblings participate in modified.
There's some kids that the reason why they go to school is because of after-school activities. And, let's face it, every kid wants the opportunity to play. And there's some kids that can't afford to play after, school, in paid sports. So I was extremely happy that we had a group willing to do this for their children.
Thanks to the tenacity of the community and the generosity of local business owners, Marlboro modified basketball is back in the gym.
Oh, good D. Good D. Good job, Matt.
Gary Trapani is the head coach of the modified boys program.
I just think you instill a sense of pride You know, that's one of the first things I stress with the kids. I've been coaching 15 years now, different sports, different levels. But the biggest thing is, you know, when you put on that Marlboro jersey, you know, it's a whole different set of rules. You know, you're held, accountable from the coaches, from the principal to the athletic director.
It gives me a chance to represent my school, and that's what I think is most.
Everyone's helping out, stepping in to give us a chance to represent Marlboro.
Now the question is, will private funding become the norm?
That's a very real concern, and some of the criticism that we've received is that this may not be a good idea because, as you mentioned, if you guys are successful, where is the motivation for the administration to ever try to bring this back? This effort is trying to take a positive spin on the negativity that is in our district right now.
Jonna O'Donnell is thinking positively.
I'm optimistic that everything's going to turn around hopefully someday and we can go back to where we were.
And with that said, this exercise has hopefully taught a few life lessons that stretch beyond sports.
We are hopeful that people will see this as an opportunity, both for the students, that if something is important to you, it's worth doing something about it, and take some action and persevere and work for it if it's something that's important to you.